Hello guys, today what we're talking about is about how not to let your dyslexia stop you doing anything in your life. And I really feel today's episode is going to be really valuable because I'm going to say a story in here that I've never ever said to anyone before. Anyway, if you like the podcast, please share, please subscribe, please leave a comment because it helps getting this podcast out to as many people to help them as possible. So the big question is this: how can dyslexics like us create a place, a community, a tribe where people at any stage of life can come and solve any challenge, amplify their strengths, and ultimately help them become who they were meant to be, or in other words, conquer their dyslexia? That is the question, and this show is the answer. My name's Theo Goff, and welcome to the Conquering Dyslexia podcast. Hello guys, I hope we're doing good. And today I want to speak to us about not letting our dyslexia stop us. Stop us doing what we really want in our life and what we really desire and what we want to do. And the way I want to talk to you about this, I'm really excited because I want to share with you a story that's happened to me really recently that I haven't really told a lot of people, but I feel it would be really valuable because basically I'm facing something I've never faced before, and it seems like this mountain that that feels almost impossible to climb, but I know that in myself, and I've made a decision in myself that I'm going to climb this mountain, even though it's extremely hard, even though the odds are against me, I'm going to climb it. And it's basically teaching kids English, reading and writing English, and how this came about is one time I remember how I'm going to go to Thailand and teaching kids English, and how is that possible? Me, a very dyslexic person, doing that, and basically how this sort of journey in the story started out was. One night I was working, and it was sort of like COVID was happening and everything like that. I think it was starting or whatever, and I was working. And I was working in school, and I was working like 5 days a week. And you know what? I remember working there, and it kind of felt like a bit mundane. Day in, day out, doing the same thing. And of course, I was coming home working hard at my dyslexic stuff. I was coming in and working, and I was like, I want that excitement. I want that adventure. I want that edge. And I remember a couple years before that, I travelled to a country called Nepal, and stayed there for 3 months with a host family. Basically, host family means a family in Nepal, and the host father, and they all looked after me. And it was me and my Nepalese counterpart who spoke Nepalese. I didn't speak a word of it, and we communicated to help us school in the village. And anyway, I had this experience back then, and that really changed me. And I love that. I want to travel, I want to do so many things. But here I am now, still in England, still doing certain things. I'm doing what I'm passionate about, but also making money doing a job. It's like, I want more things. I want to travel. I want to do it. And I had this feeling, and I wanted to get back into what there used to be a VSO. They used to be called VSO, Voluntary Services Overseas, that did that. I would recommend anyone who's between the age of 18 and 25, I did it when I'm like 18, 18 and 25, to travel. They put you in, you sign up, it's completely free, you fundraise £600, at least £600 fundraising, and basically you travel to a country. They flights, accommodation, safety, all that is accounted for because it's like a government-run scheme. You go over there for 3 months, live with a family from that country, and you learn the culture, and you try and help out and serve. I try my best to help out and serve, and I learned that they're helping me more than I am helping them. So I'd recommend anyone to go on there, but basically, fast forward a couple of years, I was like, well, I want the next adventure. So I contacted VSO. I was like, I want to be a team leader this time. I spoke to the other people from my last VSO trip. I want to do something else. Looked into VSO, looked into all these different things. And then I was interested in it, and then a couple of days later, I didn't take any action. Why? Because I had a little conflict in myself. I really wanted to do the dyslexic stuff, and I know that it would take so much work, so much effort to do that, to help the people I want to help, to produce the things, to create the systems I want to create, to help people on a lot wider scale. I know that would take a lot of time and a lot of energy. And I ultimately know, traveling would have somehow be detrimental to this dyslexic sort of journey I'm going on, helping others. And I sort of know that. I was like, no, that's not business minded. I'm really focused on doing this. But then I was like, well, that's what my head says, but what does my heart say? What will I enjoy more? Am I enjoying more having an exciting future? And of course, I'm an exciting future with doing all this dyslexic stuff, but I also want to travel and do things. And all I need is internet access and take whatever laptop, iPad with me. I can do my dyslexic stuff over there. That's all I need. So like, okay, that's all I need. I remember like looking online, and global travel group, I think they're called. Anyway, contacted them, saw all these different trips going on to different countries, and so I called them up saying I would like some help and advice on, I want to travel. Where can I travel to? I want to travel here, I want to travel here. And you pay a couple grand to go there, so they can organise everything for you. I was like, great deal. And then we're going there, and it's basically sort of, one day literally from knowing the website and buying, it took me, you mean there was one day, a couple of hours. And so basically I'd call this person, ask her so many different questions about it, and be like, okay, thanks, I'll put the phone down. I got more questions, call it up, ask a couple of questions, okay, thanks, put the phone down. After like a full conversation, I'd be like, so she sort of knew who I was in terms of my needs, why I wanted to travel, my experience. And basically, I don't want to travel just to party all the time. I've done that, it's all right for a couple of days, and then it gets boring. I want to travel so I can make human impact, so I can grow, so I can experience. Like, okay, helping kids English, that's really good. And I didn't think about my dyslexia one bit. I was like, okay, why not? Pick me up for that. So you picked me up for that thing and going to Thailand. It was in, now the dates might change, but I'm supposed to go in May on the 2nd, so a little bit of time, going to Thailand. And so that's great, I was so excited for it. I didn't think about my dyslexia once. And because now I got an email about 3 weeks ago saying that your trip to Thailand, because of the whole COVID thing, it's a lot more complex, because I'm still going, but the country Thailand is not accepting people who does not have a work visa. And in order to get a work visa, you have to have a place of work. So I'm working out there in a school. In order to get a work visa, you have to have a place to work. In order for you to have a place to work, there's a thing called a TEFL course. Basically makes you educated to teach in a certain country English, so you understand how to teach and what you're teaching, all this sort of stuff. And okay, because the plan was to go to Thailand, do the TEFL course there, and then go into school. But that I couldn't do that because I can't travel to the country if I don't have a work visa. Because the idea was to get my work visa sorted out when I'm there. So I've changed your plan. So now I have to get my TEFL course done and find a place in school before I travel there, so I can basically get my visa sent off. And once my visa comes back, then I can travel there. And so all this was going on. And like, okay, let's do a TEFL course. TEFL course is 1 month course, online course. And I know I'll be working at the time, and I know a lot of reading and writing and handing assignments. I'll be like, okay, I'm dyslexic, can I have assignments? First time I've ever mentioned dyslexia, first time they ever really, you know what I mean, they never asked for any learning difficulties, they asked for difficulties. I didn't put anything to dyslexia. It's like, oh, I'm dyslexia, because I only meant for the TEFL course. It's like, oh, you so told us sooner, blah, 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 blah. You got contacted with the guy over there in overseas, and like, by the way, when they contacted this guy overseas, I thought it was just for the course, not for the actual whole trip. It was for the whole trip. Anyway, the guy from the whole trip contacted me, and we had like a little FaceTime, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And at the end of it, I was so scared. Because like, I thought it was guaranteed. He said, if we accept you, blah, 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 this will happen. And because he's quite worried, because he's got a reputation to uphold, because these schools I'm going in are basically private schools. The parents are paying their kids to go there to get taught English. And so I thought, oh, so there's a standard there. So he has to make sure I'm up to that standard, that I don't have any difficulties. And I was really, really scared they wouldn't accept me because of my dyslexia. And instead of saying, oh, why did I book this because I've got dyslexia, it was so stupid, I'm really out of my depth, I go, there's no way I'm not going on this course. I'm going to fight the tooth and nail to go on this course, because this guy does not know what I'm capable of. And all these sort of things, because like, I don't lie to people, but also I don't tell them the truth about my level of reading and writing, and of how much I've worked on, and how basically poor it is compared to other people's. But also he doesn't know all the things I've struggled with, all the things that I've overcame. And so basically, I know myself, I will fight tooth and nail. And so I emailed him a couple of times, didn't get anything back. Spoke to my guy, Julian is his name, from the actual Global Work Travel, sort of my guy who's I'm talking to, organising everything. And so basically they've changed my sort of like plan, because I didn't really think about it. Because I work in a school, I'm alright in maths and all the other classes. In English, I ain't got a clue what they're doing. And it's year 3 kids. They can read and write better than me. And so basically, so I didn't realize how out of depth I kind of am. But here's the thing. I am out of depth. I am sort of like an environment that I don't know. So, but I want to do it. Why do I want to do it? 1, it's a challenge. 2, it'll be a great story for me to tell you one day. And because I'll grow resources in the thing. And number 3, I will not let my dyslexia stop me doing something I want to do. It's just a fact. I will not do it. I taught kids Nepal English. I went to schools in Tenerife. Didn't teach English, taught boxing there. But I had all these challenges. I wrote a book. All these challenges I found a way of overcoming. And this will be no different. And I have this thing instilled in me. And guess what? It was not born in me. I wanted to, growing up, the only job I think I could have was a builder, because that in my head has at least reading and writing possible. And I had this belief, okay, I can't do anything that involves reading and writing, because I'll never be able to do that. But now it's whole opposite. And why does that change? Because I've decided it should change. Not because I'm uniquely gifted, not because I'm this person, but because that's who I decided to be. And so this person came back, he didn't come back talking to me, talking to Judy and saying, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to try something different. He's going to be sort of like, we're not going to pay him for the first couple of weeks. We're just going to be like an assistant, see how he is in the waters and that sort of thing. And if I can, I want to push to being more in the environment, because I want to know, I want to know what the environment is like and what's needed of me. And I know the way I can thrive most is being in an environment that, completely out of my depths with no escape, and then I can find a solution. That's how I've always done it. I sign up, I do the thing before I'm ready, and I get ready real fast. And so I'm really trying to push him to be able to, okay, I want to get paid, I want you to trust me to do these things. How am I going to overcome the reading and writing challenges? I don't know. There's loads of little things I can do, but I don't know. But the purpose of this thing, I am going to fight tooth and nail to do this. And if you could tell me a couple of years ago, oh, you'll be doing this, you'll be doing that, I would sort of say, no way, that's the stupidest thing ever. Why? That's like hell. That's like, okay, you're a person without any legs, I'm going to get you to run a marathon without a wheelchair or anything. You think, what? Same thing. But that person without any legs, or really strong arms, he'll be like, well, I'm doing it. I'm not letting these things happen. I'm not letting the fact I don't have any legs stop me. I'm not letting the fact that I have dyslexia, I find it hard reading and writing, stopping me. And all these challenges come up, I am going to face them head on, because it will grow me more as a person. And that's the kind of reason, that's the kind of things that you have. Don't let your dyslexia stop you. Most of my life, even growing up, I let my dyslexia stop me doing so many different things. When I say I let my dyslexia stop me, I had fear that, if I do this, this won't work. If I do that, that wouldn't work. I can't do this, I can't do that. And because of that fear, it stopped me taking the action. But guess what? Fear is a choice. Fear is a choice. I feel fear doing a lot of things, but I don't let that fear stop me doing it. And it's a practice, it's a muscle that you've got to build up. Because I would say sort of where you are right now, you're scared to this, you're scared to do your job, speak up, do whatever. Realise that, hold on, I'm not going to let it stop me. I'm not going to let this fear, I'm not going to let my dyslexia stop me in my life. And it has to be a thing ingrained in you. It can't be sort of it doesn't feel comfortable, so I want it to not feel comfortable. No, it will feel comfortable. It will feel uncomfortable, Working on your dyslexia will feel uncomfortable. Making yourself outside of your depth will feel uncomfortable. It won't be an easy ride. But guess what? It will be worth it. Guess what? After you do it, after you overcome that challenge, you'll feel like you do so much more. Because, for example, in school, I think hopefully you can relate to this. When there's a test, a test you have to do, an English test, this thing you want to pass, and yet it's so hard, you've struggled all your life with this thing, but something inside you does not give up. Something inside you said, this is the start of the rest of my life, I'm going to do whatever it takes to pass this thing. And you know what? You put so much work in. You pour out every ounce of yourself into this one thing, into this one subject, into this one course, and at the end you pass. You pass. You don't pass at the top of the class. You pass. And you pass just as well as everyone else passed. but yet you feel you've done the impossible and everyone else is just walking off. You feel you've done something that you thought you could never ever do before. What would that do to your self-esteem? What would that do to your confidence? What would that do to your belief about yourself? And that's the same thing with the challenges we're facing now. Like, we're facing now these challenges, and yet if you can overcome them, if you face them head on and say, okay, my dyslexia will not stop me, and then moving forward, despite the fear I feel, and then who will you become? You will become an absolute beast. You'll become more than you can ever dream of. You'll become more than what everyone thought of you, because no one knows your potential, not even you. People around you definitely don't know your potential, because they judge you off of them. They think, okay, if I had those struggles, if I had that challenges, I won't be able to do these things. I can't do that, so I won't tell this person that they can do that. But guess what? You can do so much more than what people say you can do. So really, like, when there's a challenge there, don't back down. Give it everything you got every single day. And of course it's hard. Of course it'll get ugly. That's the process we've got to go through. Because at the end of it, we're going to live so much more happier, so much more successful, so much more joyous life. We've been through the struggle. The people who've been through struggle this early on oftentimes are the people that are most content and most happy later on. But they've learned how to deal with struggle. They've developed coping strategies and they feel proud of themselves because they know what they went through. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. I love speaking about this stuff and look forward to seeing you again soon.